The 2026 Oscar nominations are finally out, and we officially have a new king of the Academy Awards. Ryan Coogler's Sinners didn't just lead the pack this year, it made history. With a staggering 16 nominations, it has become the most nominated film of all time. We've never seen a single movie reach this number before. To put that into perspective, for decades, the record was capped at 14 nominations. It was a three-way tie between some of the biggest heavyweights in cinema history, the 1950 classic All About Eve, James Cameron's Titanic, and the 2016 musical La La Land. For years, many thought 14 was the absolute ceiling, but Sinners just shattered it. Today, we're breaking down how this supernatural thriller managed to pull off the impossible. But before we get into the why, let's look at the what. Sinners didn't just break the record, it swept almost every category it was eligible for. Here are the 16 nominations that made history. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, Best Film Editing, Best Original Score, Best Original Song, Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Casting. Now let's talk about how a vampire movie actually pulled this off. One of the main reasons Sinners hit 16 nominations is actually a bit of a technicality in Oscar history. 2026 is the very first year the Academy introduced the Best Achievement in Casting category. In the past, movies like Titanic or All About Eve didn't have this slot available to them. Because Sinners has such a sprawling, perfectly picked ensemble from the leads down to the smallest roles in that 1930s Mississippi setting, it was a lock for this new category. That extra slot gave it the breathing room to move past the previous 14 nomination ceiling. It's a case of a great movie meeting a new rule at the perfect time. But make no mistake, the casting work here is genuinely seamless. We've seen actors play twins before, but what Michael B. Jordan did as Elijah and Elias Moore felt different. He wasn't just wearing different clothes, he changed his entire physicality and temperament for both roles. Usually, the Academy picks one lead and moves on, but because he played two central characters so distinctly, it created a massive amount of acting weight for the film. When the leading man is delivering twice the performance in a single movie, it naturally draws more attention from the actors branch. It made his Best Actor nomination feel inevitable and anchored the film's credibility in a way most horror movies never achieve. Let's be honest, the Oscars usually ignore horror, but Ryan Coogler didn't just make a scary movie. He made what critics are calling a prestige supernatural epic. By setting the story in the 1930s Jim Crow South, he gave the film a layer of historical and social weight that the Academy actually respects. It follows the path laid by movies like Get Out, where the monsters are a metaphor for real-world fears. Because the film feels important and not just scary, it allowed voters who usually skip horror to feel comfortable putting it at the top of their Best Picture ballots. To get to 16 nominations, you can't just have good acting. You have to be perfect on the technical side. Sinners is what we call a sweeper. It's one of those rare films that dominates the craft categories. Whether it's the sound, editing, or visual effects, the movie is a polished machine. It's hard for a voter to ignore the film when every single department is performing at a top-tier level. When a movie looks, sounds, and feels this expensive and well-crafted, it picks up those below-the-line nominations almost automatically, padding that total count into record-breaking territory. The cinematography in this film is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Autumn Durrell-Darkapah created a visual style that feels like a fever dream, mixing the humidity of the Mississippi Delta with a sharp, terrifying, supernatural edge. It's only the fourth time a woman has been nominated for Best Cinematography in Oscar history. The Academy loves a first or a rarity, and her work here is so distinct from the usual digital look of modern blockbusters that it stood out immediately. It's not just pretty to look at. The camera work actually tells the story of the brothers' isolation. In a year full of sequels and reboots, Sinners stands out because it's a completely original IP. Ryan Coogler fought hard to own this story himself, and that narrative of originality really resonated with the writers and directors branches. The Academy often rewards filmmakers who take big risks on new ideas that actually work at the box office. Since Sinners was both a commercial hit and a brand new story, it gained a hero status among voters who want to see Hollywood move away from franchises. That goodwill translated into nominations for both directing and original screenplay. Music is the soul of this movie. Ludwig Göransson's score isn't just background noise, it's a mix of traditional 1930s blues and haunting modern supernatural tones. Then you add the Best Original Song nomination for I Lie to You, and you see why the music branch fell in love with it. Most movies get one or the other, but Sinners used its musical identity as a core part of its marketing and storytelling. It made the movie feel like a total cinematic experience, which is exactly the kind of thing that leads to a double-digit nomination count. The costume design nomination might seem like a given for a period piece, but Ruth E. Carter's work here is record-breaking in its own right. She is now the most nominated Black woman in Oscar history. Her costumes didn't just look like old clothes, they told the story of the character's status and their struggle. The Academy has a deep respect for Carter's legacy, and when she delivers work that is this detailed, specifically how she used textures to contrast the heat of the South with the coldness of the supernatural elements, the voters were always going to show up for her. The Academy loves a movie that speaks to the now, even if it's set in the past. Sinners uses the vampire myth to explore themes of survival, race, and family loyalty in a way that feels very relevant to 2026. It's not just a movie about monsters, it's a movie about what people do when they're pushed to the edge. This meatiness in the story is why it landed a screenplay nod. It gave the voters something to talk about beyond the special effects, making it a serious contender for Best Picture rather than just a popcorn flick. Finally, we have to talk about the business side. You don't get 16 nominations by accident. Warner Bros. Ran a massive, coordinated campaign for this film. They positioned it as the must-see event of the year, ensuring that every Academy member had it at the top of their screeners. By maintaining a high profile from its release all the way through award season, they kept the momentum alive. When a studio puts its full weight behind a film that is actually good, you get this kind of tidal wave effect, where the movie becomes the default choice in almost every category. At the end of the day, whether Sinners wins 2 Oscars or 12, the fact that it secured 16 nominations has already changed the game. It proved that a genre film, especially a horror, can dominate the highest levels of the industry without compromising its vision. It's a huge win for Ryan Coogler, for Michael B. Jordan, and honestly, for everyone who wants to see more original, high-stakes storytelling in Hollywood. But now I want to hear from you. With 16 chances to win, how many statues do you think Sinners is actually taking home on Oscar night? Is it going to sweep the technicals, or will it pull off the big one for Best Picture? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I try to read as many as I can. If you enjoyed this deep dive into cinema history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns of the biggest movies. And if you want to know about 10 most anticipated movies of February 2026, watch this video, and I'll see you there.